Welcome to the channel. Lynn here with a brand new video. So today we are working with plaster to make a couple of beautiful decoration pieces that I think you'll be able to use in your home. So here I have a fork with me, and you're gonna need a bowl to mix in your plaster. I'm also gonna be using a little bit of water to go ahead and mix that together. But plaster is a very cheap alternative to be able to create some beautiful projects for your home. So I'm gonna be making some trinkets here, and I will be showing you guys just exactly how I was able to do that. So with the plaster mixture, you just want to make sure you pour in enough water to have a liquidy consistency, because this plaster powder is very heavy, and when it settles at the bottom of your mold, it really does set in there, and it sets as a very hard cement type of material. So if you haven't worked with plaster before, this information is definitely going to be useful to you. So go ahead and follow along with the video, and we will continue that project together. When you pour in your plaster into the mold, you are going to see some bubbles, so go ahead and use a small item to be able to poke those out. In other cases, if it was a flatter surface, I would be able to just lift this and tap out the bubbles, but in this case, the vase is way too heavy, so I am not going to do that with this mold, but I can use the tip of my fork to be able to remove as many bubbles as I can. And you're going to let that set for at least 48 hours so that you do not have anything that's breaking or any cracks in it. So you definitely want to respect that rule of letting it dry fully before it sets. This mold comes from a set that I bought from Temu, and I absolutely love how they work. So if you haven't seen the previous video that I've posted on the channel, I actually just posted this video on how I ended up making this into a candle. I will show you guys a small snippet of how that turned out. But once again, go ahead and make sure that your mold is nicely set, and you don't want to touch this for 48 hours before it is fully dry. Once it is fully dry, it will go from this darker color to a white clay color. So that is how you know that your plaster is fully set and dry and ready to work with. Okay, so I'm gonna let the candle set and we will see the final product at the end. But now I wanted to create some fake terrazzo chips to add to this beautiful mold that I have. So I'm going to be creating that by adding some acrylic paint and drying some of those pieces and crumbling them into the plaster. So I've seen this done a couple of times, and I really wanted to try it for myself. So let's go ahead and see how that project turned out. I really love working with plaster. It is definitely so easy to use, and it's not complicated at all. You just mix it and make sure that the consistency is well. You know, sometimes you can have some mishaps here and there, but this is definitely a fun DIY for you guys to try. for this portion of the project, I'm going to be using some white paint in the plaster here, but that's not necessary. I'm just going to be using this titanium white from the Arteco paint line. But anyways, so this is what the dried up fake terrazzo pieces dried like. So as you guys can see, I used plaster and the acrylic paint and a little bit of water, and that seemed to do the trick. So I ended up doing multiple different colors. As you guys can see here, I did some charcoal colors, a little bit of green, some tan pieces, as well as some yellows, and I absolutely love how it looks. So now I'm just gonna mix the main plaster that's gonna be holding all of those chips. So I'm just going to go ahead and stir that with a little bit of water and get that consistency well. So what I did wrong here a little bit is that I kept adding water as soon as I was done mixing it and getting it to the right consistency. So I think that kind of messed up the project a little bit, but that's okay. We move on. I wasn't looking for this to be absolutely perfect since it was my first time, but it definitely could have gone a little bit better. But as I said before, we learn and we grow on this channel. So let's go ahead and see how that comes along. As you guys can see here, this is going to be the pinnacle part of this project. So this is going to reveal the beauty of this technique. So basically, once your plaster is dried and has been removed from the mold, you want to sand it down and reveal those beautiful terrazzo chips that you mixed into your plaster. As you guys can see, if you saw earlier, I did add a little bit too much water, which caused some of my edges to come out a little bit rough, but let's just go with the rustic vibe for now. I just wanted to show you guys what this technique was going to look like. So here is how the terrazzo chips are looking after sanding it for a little bit. So look at how gorgeous these terrazzo chips are looking. So I just took a nail filer because this was the smallest file that I had. So I couldn't use any other sander because it was just too big. So what you want to do is be sure to sand it down and then rinse it off with some water, and it will reveal this beautiful terrazzo pattern, which I am just absolutely in love with. So keep on watching and let's continue to see where this project goes.